Hey, so probably recently you might have heard of this term, referendum. Yes, it is the word of the moment. But do you actually know what a referendum is, or you have just been reposting with confidence and zero understanding? Whichever way, just calm down. Let me marinate you a little bit. So, a referendum is a nationwide vote where ordinary people, not just politicians, get to decide on a big issue, usually something serious like changing the constitution. In short, which is just a rule book of the country on how leaders are chosen, what rights people have, and how power is shared. Think of a constitution like just a contract that everyone signed, even the ones that didn't even read it properly, and later someone just wakes up out of nowhere and casually says, guys, I have a small update. I've changed parts of the contract. And you're sitting there wondering when you agreed to that. So, in this context, politicians are supposed to ask the people first before major constitutional changes to say yes or no. Referendums matter because without them, politicians start behaving like landlords in a household they did not build, making rules as they go, controlling the kitchen, the gate, and even your bedroom key while you're still paying rent. It also forces them to come back to the people because if you leave everything to politicians, they'll pass laws in shortcuts and keep telling you patience is a virtue. Now in Zimbabwe, we've actually seen this movie before. It's not our first episode. In 2000, the government brought a constitution to the people and said, hey, can you trust us with this? And the people said, no, you trust us. And they rejected it, which was the first time leaders realized citizens can actually say no and mean it. Then in 2013, they came back now a little bit more humble. They did the consultations, involved the people, and the constitution was approved, which means the current constitution is not just a document from the politicians, but a people approved contract, stamped and certified. So now when we get to 2026 and the people start asking whether the changes in the constitution need a referendum, the answer suddenly becomes it depends, which is usually a political language for yes, but we're trying to avoid it because the constitution allows some changes through parliament, like two-thirds of majority vote. That's fine. But when you start touching serious things like presidential powers, term limits, how leaders are chosen, or rights, now you're no longer fixing typos in the constitution, you're redesigning the whole system. And at that point, you're supposed to go back to the people. And at the moment, we have a whole bill number 3 situation where one side is saying this thing cannot pass. It actually touches the core of democracy, so it should go to a referendum. And the other side saying, relax, parliament has the numbers. Of course, they always have the numbers. But the question is whether they have the people because something can be legal and still feel very wrong. Just like eating food from the office fridge because it had no label. Technically allowed, but morally still questionable. The bigger issue here is that a constitution is supposed to control power, protect citizens, and outlive these politicians. So when it starts being changed without direct public input, people begin to ask whether it is still their constitution or just a political document being adjusted for convenience sake. Democracy has always been very clear. The people must decide because the moment decisions are made without them, that's when trust starts disappearing slowly, and you're left with a system that works on paper but feels questionable in real life. So whether you support it or not, it's your own business. But the real question remains simple and uncomfortable at the same time. If the constitution came from the people, shouldn't the people be the ones to approve changing it? Because one thing is certain, no referendum means no consent, and no consent start raising very loud questions about legitimacy. So in short, no referendum means no consent, and no consent means no legitimacy. What's your take?